Hey, it's Pete, GCI Turf. Hope you're doing good. Hope you're having a great day today. And, I'm trying to get my beds ready for pine needles. All this crap out here, it's just looking really, ugh. So, I'm going to work on that. Yesterday, I showed you how to chemically control weeds using Roundup. Well, today, I know I got a lot of folks out there that may be a little sensitive or whatever to using chemicals and Roundup and all that kind of thing. So I got another way I'm going to show you that you don't have to use the chemicals. And now, of course, it's a little bit different. It requires a little bit of hard work, but I'm going to show you how to do that. Now, let me show you something real interesting right here real quick. We just sprayed this yesterday with that Roundup mix and natural adjuvant. And look at there on it. Look at that wilt and that burn. Look at this. Look at that wilt. That's about 24 hours later. It's already starting to curl up and get out of here. Now the cool thing about all this working on your beds and all that, you get to pick what you want to use. Pine needles or mulch, mini nuggets, double ground mulch, rocks. Whatever you want to use, man, sky's the limit. You got your choice. I like pine needles. You see I got a bale right there, and that bale's been sitting for a while on the trailer. We just didn't use it. I wanted to use it for this video. So it's not the greatest quality, but when I do my needles overall, I will have some really good red. We get our needles from down in South Carolina, those long leaf needles, and they look really good. Now you can do this however you want to do it. I'm going to show you the way I do it. And I need my string trimmer, weed eater, whatever you want to call it. And need a rake, need a flat point shovel, and a tamp. I'm real peculiar around my edges, and so I use this straight edge tamp tool, Husky. And I get it from, I think it's come from Lowe's or Home Depot, somewhere like that. And I'll show you what I use that for here in a little bit. But I've intentionally left this area strictly for this video. I've let it get growed up, bushy. I didn't spray it yesterday with Roundup. So I'm gonna show you how I create this edge. You can see I've lost the edge. It's gone. You can't tell where it's at. I know where it's at, so I'm gonna take my trimmer and I'm gonna cut me a real hard, definitive line all the way around here, and I'm gonna create that edge using that tool. And then I'm not gonna use any chemical. I'm gonna get in here and I'm gonna remove all this grass material, all these weeds, and I'm gonna throw it over in a pile and get it out of the way. And of course that's gonna pull up some dirt, and I'm gonna try to shake it out and leave as much as I can in place. And then I'm gonna take my rake and I'm gonna rake it out back nice and smooth. We're gonna throw a bale of pine needles down here, and I'm gonna show you how I tamp them on that edge and make that edge look nice and neat. So there's my edge right there. That's kind of the shape I want. And now, if you don't have an existing or pre-existing shape, you can use your imagination and create one. That's what's so cool about a yard. You got all this dirt and all this stuff. You get to make what you want to make out of it. So now that that's done, here comes the fun part. I'm gonna get over in here and get to digging this stuff out and remove all this material. I had to take a break and show you this. You know what a good solid lawn care program will do for your turf. Look at that chunk of roots right there, would you? Huh? That's what RGS does, man. It pushes them roots deep. Look at that. That'd be a good drought tolerant plant right there. Well, that's the very reason I use Roundup. Whew, well, that's tough stuff right there. If it roots out here in the grass or anywhere near like they are in this bed right here, it ought to be a good year. So next thing I'm gonna do is take this shovel, my flat point, and I'm gonna edge out that border so that my pine needles have a nice, neat place to fold down into, to lay down into. So typically all my beds are nice and neat and level and smooth because I've maintained them that way. I'm just peculiar like that. But this was a major intersection of an irrigation line, and this whole area got dug up. So that's why it's so uneven and so bad looking. So I'm gonna take my rake and I'm gonna smooth that back out level before I put my needles down. All right, so now I'm ready for my needles, and you can see there's just a little bit of scragglers here and there. I'll catch that when it pops up through the needles. But the rest of that over there, I'm gonna just spray that with Roundup. Man, that's that grass has got some deep roots on it. All right, so my pine needles, I prefer to spread them heavy, like a good thick dose of them, where you can't see any dirt. That's the key. I want to cover the dirt up completely, 100%. For me, it gives me a better look. Now, if you noticed, I intentionally threw a little bit out in the grass right there. Well, there's a reason for that. My edges have to be clean and crisp, okay? I don't want any dirt showing around my edges and all that kind of thing. So I'm gonna use that, and I got two ways you can do it. One, you can do it with your hand, and the other way, you can just use old garden rake. Now, I'm gonna rake these needles back, and I'm gonna set them right in that edge right there before I tamp them. So I bet you're saying, hey man, why didn't you just use a blower and tuck and roll them? Well, you could, Actually, our maintenance crews do a considerable amount of pine needles every year. And when you're talking about time is money, and you only have so much time to throw a bale of pine needles to be profitable, that's the way we do it. But it's my personal yard, and I just kind of like a little bit more detail than that. And of course, you can take a blower and roll them, and I know some folks leave that real big hump on the edge, and personal preference, I can't stand it. It drives me crazy. I like for my needles to kind of roll down in there somewhat like that. And then of course, when our maintenance crews, when we roll them, we'll tuck them and tamp them with the tamp here. No different than I'm getting ready to show you. It's just a little easier, or it's not easier, but a little different way of doing it. Well, there you go. Nice, neat, clean edge right there. Hey, hope this helps. And like, subscribe, all that cool stuff. Get your edges right.